And my name is Casper, and if I look like hell, well, it's because I feel like hell. If you follow me on Twitter, or if you were on the official, Skype group for the people that follow this channel, you know that when I came back from South by Southwest, which I worked for the entire weekend, I came back with the gnarliest flu that pretty much made me feel like absolute hell. My throat felt like I gave Satan oral, and that's really saying something. Which is why I didn't upload anything or really stream at all last week, because I thought if I just kind of parked my happy ass on the bed, then I would get better, but I haven't. Surprise. It's not always makeup and cheeriness, and oh my god, I'm so dehydrated. Really, the only reason I'm at the computer in the first place is because I really have a deep, strong love for Last Week Tonight by John Oliver and Greco Rye, who is the angel of gay porn. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about Space Pirate Sara, which is a 5-episode sci-fi hentai that was created by Pixy and released in 2008. It tells the story of, obviously, a space pirate named Sara that is known across the galaxy for being particularly evil. When she gets kidnapped by the Von Gielen sisters, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, with her rival, Knight Sylia, she is put on show for the various aristocrats that she has wronged in the past. So at first, I found the story to be genuinely interesting. It seemed like it followed a pretty coherent story, and it wasn't too horribly cliche. Sara wanted this legendary sword for herself and was dodging the law enforcement to obtain it. Of course, I jinxed myself by praising it in a Skype chat group that I can't hear out of this ear. Of course, I jinxed myself by praising it in the Skype chat group we have going on, and it didn't take long for it to just turn into this bunch of super raunchy porn that was just nonsense. Even then, it still managed to have some sort of a general story in the sense that Sara's right-hand man is working to rescue her from her captors. We also have her other men turn on her once they realized that she was actually nobility at one point, which I felt was decent writing for a hentai. You have to remember that when it comes to hentai, my bar is exceptionally low. But then episode 3 came around and it really just turned into a whole bunch of nonsense that was just sex scene after sex scene. I know this is just cartoon porn, but it really just felt like the creators stopped trying about halfway through. That being said, we need to talk about the sex scenes and their scripting. In the Skype chat, we were kind of talking about it together, mostly with just Alex and myself because some of the others couldn't watch it, but we were watching it at the same time and we were just kind of going back and forth about how ridiculous some of the shit was. In particular, the weird semen rocket thing with the lizard sex scene, and the fact that in episode 4 they're using this tentacle monster to do naughty things to her ovaries and her fallopian tubes, which... no! It really just kind of came to a point where you had to stop and really wonder if the creators have ever even so much as seen a vagina in their lives, because they did not understand. I criticize some anime for, not getting the anatomy right, but they just did not understand basic human reproductive anatomy. I mean, middle schoolers that have only taken a mandatory sex ed class once in their lives would know more about the human body than these creators did. It became so agonizingly ridiculous that I just kind of assumed that about halfway through production, they just started taking a whole bunch of drugs. That's the only thing that made sense. Then they stopped taking drugs halfway through the production of the final episode, which is when things really actually picked up and Sara began fighting for her freedom alongside her right-hand man. I guess this is when they realized that they had made literal garbage and needed to make up for it, albeit poorly. Though I still have yet to figure out why the two lowly characters are still remaining as children. They really never explain that. They don't explain why after, even though Sara has grown up into a full-grown woman, these two little girls are still little girls. I mean, obviously it's to pander to a bunch of creepy men that are into little girls, but I don't understand. And we totally get to see Cecile killed in episode 4, so why is she alive in the bonus episode? First order of business, wholly reused animation Batman. Look, let's be real. Nothing makes your budget more apparent than the animation. And the studio in charge of creating Space Pirate Sara clearly did not have much to work with. I mean, the animation itself was pretty effing terrible on its own, with a lot of moments being jumpy and jerky and really awkward because apparently the creators decided to cut corners by skipping frames. I mean, if anything, just look at the way that the hair moves in the scenes with the two loli twins. It looked like they had the same hair physics you would see in a yandere simulator mod. Hair does not move like this! If they were in some zero-G setting, I wouldn't send this, but they weren't. And then there was the way that they struggled with face anatomy at different angles. So they already started off with really bad quality, which was only made worse by the decision to reuse a lot of the same animation bits over and over and over again. This is especially true in episodes 2 and the final episode with the lizard alien monster thing and then the tentacle monster that really made me squeamish because it honestly looked like they were being raped by the wriggling intestines of Osmond Saddler. Then we get into the actual character designs. I'll say it once and I'll say it again, there is nothing attractive about super mega ultra huge boobs. Sara's boobs were literally half the size of the loli's bodies and twice the width. That is tacky. That is not sexy, that is tacky. Outside of that, there really wasn't anything interesting about the females. However, I did think that Hans had somewhat of an interesting character designs with his little eye implant thing. And the Duke, while stereotypical for an evil noble pervert, didn't look too shabby. That's all I've got though. There's really nothing to talk about in design quality because everything was pretty plain or pretty bad. Especially when the two main characters were essentially naked for the entire series. With the exception of the introduction episodes and the final scenes where for some reason their clothes just magically appear because logic. So in the end, if you want something to laugh at after having a fair amount of alcohol, then this is the hentai for you. It's entertaining in the sense that it has a somewhat okay story in the very beginning and the very end. And some of the stupid shit said, like Roger Dodger and cum sauce, can give you a good laugh. But that's only if you go into this expecting nothing more than that. I mean, there isn't any fathomable goodness to this at all. It's that bad. They pander to a wide range of fetishes, yes, but really the only way you're going to get any enjoyment out of that is if you haven't watched any porn in an extremely long amount of time and you are just nothing short of desperate to get off. That's really it. So anyways, those are my thoughts on the hentai Space Pirate Sara. I know it's been a while since I reviewed a hentai because of me being sick, and then there were like a bunch of unboxings that kind of happened, and a bunch of things happened on my end where I just had to deal with some things. So if you have any suggestions, as always, you can leave them in the comments below, or you can message me on my social media, which is always going to be in the description. Happy on birthday, and I am not going to go anywhere because if I get out of this chair, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die. So hopefully by the next video I won't be sick. Later.